Friends, it's Deanna Willison with Our Blooming Catholic Life. I have been looking forward to getting this book for quite some time. Have you seen my interview with Veronica Brandt? It was a year or two ago, and she is the compiler of this book. She quotes Sacrosanctum Concilium of Vatican II. The treasure of sacred music is to be preserved and fostered with very great care, and that is what she does in this book. Let's jump in here. It's a new book of old hymns in Latin and English, plain chant, polyphony, sequences, a litany, rounds, antiphons, carols for all seasons of the church's year, plus ordinaries of the Mass, benediction, and some English hymns. This is the 4th edition. It's not very big at all. You'd think something like that would be huge. It does have an imprimatur from the very Reverend Peter G. Williams, the Vicar General of Parramatta, the 11th of February, 2014. Remember, she's in Australia, so I'm guessing it has something to do with that. This first edition was July 2004. There was a second edition, a third, a fourth. The fourth one from 2014 had 2 minor revisions and then a minor fix in September 2020. Designed and typeset by Veronica Brandt, www.brandt.id.au. Lots of work about this. It does say it's licensed under, the work is licensed under the Creative Commons Attributions 2.5 Australia license, and you may freely photocopy the pages if you have bought this book, which is lovely. Table of contents, I'm going to love this. Maybe I'd like it a little bit bigger, but it's set up very clear and easy to read, easy to make the connection from the text to the page numbers. So she has in here Advent, Christmas, Holy Name, yes! Candlemas, Lent, Passiontide, Easter, Pentecost, Trinity, Corpus Christi, Sacred Heart / Precious Blood, Christ the King, All Saints, All Souls, Marian, for Peace, Thanksgiving, Kyrial, Benediction, and Index. Nice. Sorry, Holy Name is a special feast for Franciscans, and it can be difficult to find anything for it. It starts out with a prayer for Pope Francis, so a little bit of line artwork, and it is a chant. So that is here. Look at the very first real hymn, though, for Advent. It's the Lynn hymn. If you're in my evening prayer group, if you're one of my secular Franciscans friends, and you're my evening prayer Zoom group, this is a hymn that goes with so many songs in the current Liturgy of the Hours in Christian prayer. This tune goes with so many things. And we call it the Lynn hymn after my friend Lynn. But so this actually has 6 verses to it, both in Latin and English. So first, she gives you the basic chant, right? And then look, the verses are listed parallel, right next to each other in columns. And she gives the citation. I would have liked a little bit more space underneath before she has it, but it is Ambrosian 7th century, translated by J.M. Neal, 1818 to 66. And up here, it tells you hymn 4. So that is going to be in the 4th church mode. Very handy dandy if you're transcribing it to dulcimer to know what mode it's in. Although, is that a fa clef instead of a do clef? Now I'm going to have to look that up. It could be. The next one, you're probably curious then. The next one is in a G clef. And written like that. Could say that it's written out in 2 parts. Interesting. Veni, O Sapienta. You may know it. O come, thou wisdom from on high, who orders all things mightily. You know this. It's O come, Emmanuel. But a little bit older, it was translated by J.M. Neal and others. Then at the bottom of the page in Church Mode 1, it has Vorate Cele du Super. So another song underneath it. Just a little guy stuck in there. Oh, but that one goes on to the next page. And that has it in Church Mode 1, but then there's a slightly different version. Or is it the same one? I'm not seeing anything different from it, so I'm confused. Going back and forth, back and forth. I don't know how the second one's different. The second version, okay, the first one is just one verse. So this Roman numeral 1 here is telling you what mode it's in. This Arabic number 1 is saying it's the first verse. And then over here, it has this number 4, but that's a page number. It's just really tight in there, so it's a little tricky. And then she's giving you the refrain again in mode 1. And then we're here with verse 2. And then we're back down here. This is verse 3. A little tricky there, a little tricky. And so this time, instead of having the refrain, it just has this word. And I bet that you're supposed to interject the refrain in there, which is stuck here where it comes in the text, but then she's not reprinting it. Why reprint it from this page? Well, so that you can have it open without flipping. You can see the refrain again, and it's got that nice big R to it to mark it. Interesting. And then you repeat that again. And then there is one in 4 parts, and with G and bass clef. And then this one here is just in 1 part, G clef. So quite the variety. Again, both of those have Latin and English underneath them. It's interesting. It's quite the mix. She does have the Stabat Mater Dolorosa, and she does have all 20 verses. The translation by Father E. Caswell is here. So that is there. You can see that she gives you the chant to begin, and then all of the verses here. What's over here? Another long one is Crux Fidelis in Passion Tide. And then Pangue Lingua. Pangue Lingua is, so Crux Fidelis is a small one. Pangue Lingua, does say it's a hymn. I'm not sure what mode it is because it has a 1, but I think that this one is for a verse number. I'm sure Veronica will probably get on here and make all these corrections. Maybe I should have called her to do this together. But she does have 10 verses to Pangue Lingua, but the music is here. You have a number of verses here, but when you flip over, you're going to have the tune memorized by the time you get here. And honestly, by the time you get to the 9th and 10th verse, you have the tune memorized. Hoc Dies, Jubilate Deo. The first one being in mode 2. Oh, now I don't know. Jubilate Deo, I'm wondering if it is in 3 parts, like around, because see, here's a 1, here's a 2, here's a 3. I don't know. Yeah, I probably should have just called her to do this. Ophilie et Filiae. Yay! Nice Franciscan hymn. The Alleluia that you used before from the Lauds of Easter Sunday. She has so much in here. You can see the basic format. Let's see here where there was something odd. Nope. So sometimes there's a long, and sometimes it's just a little short guy here. The page numbers are in the outside upper corners, and the seasons are on the top. You can see these are 2 different seasons here. So it's not like she gives you a new blank page, like you might have the beginning of a chapter. You're just going to pay attention to that top. For All the Saints does not have the hymn. Interesting. Unless, I think everybody knows that. Oh. So I was trying to see if maybe this tune worked for it. I'm not sure. Oof. Sorry, it's been a really long day. There is another hint him here for all saints. Corda pia inflammator. I cannot say that. Try that again. Corda pia inflammator. Godly hearts are inflamed while the tokens of Francis's stigmata are celebrated. Hey, that's about St. Francis. I did know that at one point that Veronica had worked at a Franciscan church, I believe. Ah, very nice. I finally have this. So that is actually a Franciscan hymn for the Feast of the Stigmata. Nice. I have it in my hot little hands now. And there are 11 verses to that. If you think it's just singing the praises of St. Francis, no, because here, the last verse, even they're about the crucified one. They're really about Christ. I'll read you some of the last ones here. To whom the King of Heaven came, fastened to the cross with serene countenance. Let the crucified one be praised with Francis, who is resting above the plottings of the world. A little bit of art here and there as well. Dies Irae is in here. Oh, that's why Filii, I can't say it, Filii is in there. Franciscan hymn as well as the Dies Irae. Nice. I did not know there was going to be so many Franciscan hymns in here. Quite the pleasure. They do have Ave Maria, the Requiem Aeternam, Sub Tuum Praesidum, Laudamus Virginum, bunch of Marian antiphons customarily sung after each hour of the divine office according to the time of the year. And she goes on to explain that, and then she gives them to you. Oh, nice. Bonus. And then Stella Splendens. Nice. Litany of Loreto, very nice. Ave Maris Stella, very nice. Virgo Dei Geniatrix, Dona Nobis Pacem, nice. Da Pacem Domine. Now thank we all our God. Now I'll be remiss if I didn't make some snide comment about the fancy font up there. I know, it's a little difficult to read, and anybody else, I would normally get on them for that, and I hadn't so far. The problem, really, that I have with that, this is probably honestly the only fault I have with that, the lowercase a. Anybody with a reading disability is going to struggle with that for a hot minute. That lowercase a is not cool. Te Deum, Missa Orbis Factor, Mass 11, the Gloria, the Kyriale. Okay. Sanctus Agnus Dei, Ite Missa S, Credo 1, O Salutores Hostia. Nice. It includes the prayers at the end. Very nice. Tantum Ergo is listed separately than Pangue Lingua. Because it's listed back here in the benediction section. And so in the benediction section, that's why the prayers were here. So there is a benediction program in the back, starting on page 83, O Salutores Hostia, followed by the prayers. And then they have Tantum Ergo Sacramentum, the versicle, the prayers, the benediction prayer, then the divine praises, Adoramus in Aeternum, and then we have the index. Nice. And there are directions on what to do. So the benediction ceremony is in the back. Interesting. So the index is both Latin and English. So let's see. A boy is born. Let's see if it's under Puer Nauntis as well. It is. So it's listed under its English name as well as its Latin name. Great book. I'm really glad I got it. Really, the only problem I have is that weird little font in the song titles, the letter A. That's what's bugging. Other than that, I'm very excited. I'm going to be transcribing some dulcimer notation in here any minute. It's just how I read music now. Very excited to get this. And this will be able to go on my retreat with me because I'll be allowed to play music, I believe. So, friends, may God bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you, to be gracious unto you, and may the good Lord bless you. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Bless you, friends.